Wait, one sidebar I have to make is I also watched Purple Rain this week.
The Prince Purple
For the
Rain?
first time. Yeah.
For the first time?
For the first time.
Okay.
I had never seen Purple Rain. And when I saw Apollonia take her top off at the lake.
The Lake of Minnetonka.
All I could think of was 12-year-old Troy watching this film going,
Dude,
losing your fucking mind.
I lost more than my mind, if you know what I'm saying.
I do.
I don't know if I ever told that story.
In a world of bad movies, two follically challenged men will stop at nothing to share their opinions of them. Their wives are tired of listening. But are you? This isn't the podcast you deserve, but it's the one you need. Prepare yourself for Bald Guys and Bad Movies.
Welcome to Bald Guys and Bad Movies. I think this is episode 17. I am Michael Stella, along here with
Troy
Luter, my good friend and co-host. And we're back to bring you another round of shit talking about some movies. But I don't know, might not be too much shit talking this episode because I think we reviewed something that wasn't horrible. It was decent, you know?
It was who suggested this, Mike? I think I mentioned it and then
you mentioned it and then I had already watched it. I was like, "Hey, it's Edgar Wright." We had just watched The World's End.
Edgar Wright's World's End, Shaun of the Dead,
Baby Driver,
almost Ant-Man for a while. Until that fell through.
Well, you know what? I'll that's funny you say that because I actually really liked Ant-Man and I feel like he would have done a good job with it. But I think Edgar Wright, and this movie included, has trouble with endings. Anyways, let's get into it.
Okay, so Last Night in Soho. Did we say the title yet?
Yeah, Last Night in Soho, Edgar Wright's newest film with, I can't remember the girl's name.
Thomasin McKenzie, who is the girl in Old. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, and that was funny because she was actually really good in this. And it's funny because remember I talked about how, like, I was so happy when the kids grew up and old because we didn't have to deal with those horrible actors as little kids. And the kids in the teenage ones were so good. She was really good, and so was the other kid who's good in everything. He was a guy in Hereditary, and
she did an amazing job. But okay, before we get into it,
she was great in
before
this.
We get into
she
spoilers,
really
do you recommend Last Night in Soho? I went in.
See it. Absolutely. I say see it.
I do say see it, and I say I saw the trailer. And the trailer does a good job. I saw this like months ago or last year when it was released. You couldn't really quite tell what this was going to be about. I mean, you have a little bit of a feeling.
Yeah, you knew there were like these weird two timeline thing going on, but you didn't really know exactly what was
But it's
going
even
on.
better if you don't watch the trailer. Like, there's a lot to unpack and discover here. And I will say it's a very unique film. Like, I enjoyed the freshness of it. So,
but I will say that is something that Edgar Wright does really well.
Yeah.
I feel like every one of his movies. My favorite Edgar Wright movie is actually Hot Fuzz, to tell you the truth. I think Hot Fuzz is probably his best film that he's ever done. I feel like it has the best ending, even though it's still a little kind of weird.
What about Scott Pilgrim, dude?
Oh, Scott Pilgrim. You know, I am not that big of a fan of Scott Pilgrim. It's not that I don't like it. Like, don't get me wrong. It's a fun film. It's a really fun film to watch, actually. Yeah. And I love the fact that it really plays into what it does, and it does it well. But that's one of the few Edgar Wright films I can't really tell you what happened in the whole movie because it left so, like, the movie itself was kind of overshadowed by the stylistic choices that he made to the point where I just remember what Scott Pilgrim looked like, not what it was actually. I know what it was about, but I don't remember how it ended.
At the time that film came out, were you familiar with the manga, the comic?
I was not.
I was working at a manga company at that time, and I knew about Scott Pilgrim before the movie was even announced. So I knew of the concept, and I knew it was very anime, that genre influenced.
Sure.
So when I saw the movie, I think it's probably one of my favorite Edgar Wright films because
Oh yeah,
Maybe
I should give it another. If it's out on like HBO Max, I'll give it another shot.
It is highly stylized, but on purpose.
Oh, I know.
To be like in a live action anime almost.
Sure.
But anyway, yeah. I mean, I guess at the end of the day, you could say Edgar Wright is an interesting filmmaker who, love it or hate it, you can't say. Well, I guess you could say, but I don't see any of his films as disposable. I've seen it before.
Absolutely, and I will say Edgar Wright is a master at transitions. The transition in Hot Fuzz, getting Sergeant Angel to the country town that he lives in, there was a great little transition showing how things are changing for him. And in 30 seconds, maybe a minute, you get a truly unique transition from city to country and how his entire life has changed.
Did you ever see Spaced? Do you know of Spaced?
Spaced, no.
Spaced is a British television show.
Oh.
With Edgar Wright, Simon Pegg, Nick Frost. They were all on this show Spaced. I saw it years ago because my other buddy Mike had bootlegs. But you should check that out, man.
I will check it out for sure.
You're in for a pleasant surprise if you've never seen Spaced, because it's about dudes like us, film geeks, but with the Edgar Wright spin, right? So fantasy and reality kind of blend.
So let's get into the movie. Like, what did you think about it? What were some of the things that kind of really stood out to you?
Well, first of all, I wanted to see the movie, but I knew it was a movie I had to be in a mood for. And when I did watch it, I watched it because I got to fucking watch this because I know we're going to review it, right?
Right.
This is going to be praised for the film. I managed to slip it in the afternoon between things I was working on, and I totally forgot about all the worries.
Right.
It immersed me. It felt fresh. Thomasin McKenzie, man, she gives a Shelley Duvall, just to date myself, but Shelley Duvall famously in The Shining was crying and an emotional wreck. This girl is put through the ringer. And
yeah, but I felt like I thought she was a pretty fucking awesome, like kind of a strong heroine character. It's funny you bring up Shelley Duvall because I always felt like Shelley Duvall was kind of like a frail sort
well,
of
I'm not
thing,
saying
like,
it's a one-on-one comparison. What I'm saying is
okay.
The emotional roller coaster, right? It's,
sure.
And, she's this timid girl and she gets confident and then fucked up things start to happen and she's terrified. And I like how, at least my impression, in the beginning, you thought, is this girl mentally ill? Because she's seeing visions of her mom. And what I realized at the end is she could see dead people. I mean, I don't know if that's what you took away, but that for me, that was kind of a final twist. Like she was literally seeing her mother because it wasn't just her being cuckoo. She has an attunement with the supernatural. Her in that room was like a battery for the souls that were murdered.
Yeah, absolutely. And not to mention the souls that were murdered, but they're like in the fucking walls. Like that's one of the thing. Like she fucking buried these fucking guys in the wall. Like, and it's so funny because they do such a great job to like slowly edge you into the fact that, oh yeah, do not listen to this. I will tell you that we haven't really talked about too much yet. Do not listen to this podcast if you haven't seen this movie because it's a great movie. This is a movie that you really don't want to know what's happening.
And my criticisms for the movie, they're not like a normal criticism like, that's fucking dumb or stupid. It's more of an elevated critique where it's like, that's interesting, but if they've only done this, you know what I mean? Like,
totally.
And it's not like it doesn't work, but it's just like
it's an interesting choice that was made,
right?
Yeah,
and that's far different than fucking Morbius with Skittle Vision, or whatever. So,
but I will say that they do a great job. So, like I said, spoilers now. Okay, spoilers. They did a great job of slowly moving you from caring about a character to feeling so sorry for a character to like, oh fuck, get the fuck away from that character. They are bad. You know what I mean? Right. Like they did such, and you know who the old lady was, right?
Diana Rigg.
Yeah, Diana Rigg, fucking Queen of Thorns or whatever they call her in Game of Thrones. She did. Oh, really?
I believe she did pass.
Oh, man.
I wonder if that's her final role, too. Wait, I can click on.
Well, it's a nice one to end on, I will say.
She died September 2020, so probably was.
She died September 2020. Jesus, this has been in the can for a while then.
Yeah, that's listed as her last film. She's fantastic in it, right?
Yeah, she's really great in it. And I...
wait, before we leave Diana Rigg, God rest her soul, I'm an old fuck. I had a crush on her. She had this old show, really? The Avengers, with Patrick
she
McGee.
was in the Avengers?
Yeah, she was the...
No way. She was the main chick, right?
Emma Peel, of course.
Emma Peel.
Yeah. And she was in an underrated Bond movie, Her Majesty's Secret Service. She is Bond's wife, who got...
Wife?
Yeah. At the end of that movie, he got married, and then Blofeld did a drive-by and blew her head off.
But, yeah, she's great, Diana Rigg, right? And, my God, she was smoking when she was young.
She did a good job. Also...
She was great.
Performances were through the roof. Anna Taylor-Joy, she has such a unique beauty. She has a strange beauty to her, right? Like
her eyes are on the side of her head. She is like a deer. She looks like a deer.
A deer or a pixie come to life.
I remember my acting coach in high school, Dr. Ford, who is no longer with us.
God rest his soul.
As controversial as the man was, he had lots of amazing insight. And one thing he always said, the people who look the best on screen usually don't always look normal. They're like very alien looking because they have very wide set eyes, very long features on their face, because the camera like pulls stuff in on the sides and pulls stuff together tops and bottom. It's just naturally the way it works. And she really does look, she has exactly that.
He's right. Some of my favorite actors, I couldn't really say they're beautiful or handsome. With exceptions, right? Brad Pitt is a handsome man. I think he's a good actor. I'm not going to say Brad Pitt is an amazing actor.
Well, look at someone like Javier Bardem.
Yeah.
Right? He's a great actor, but he's freaking weird looking, dude. You know what I mean? Like
there's a memorable uniqueness to it, right? As opposed to a pretty face and a handsome dude.
But she's gorgeous. But Anna Taylor-Joy is gorgeous. Like in the film she's in, she is gorgeous, and it's different.
The fact that she looks like a deer kind of works for her role in this movie as a victim, right? As this innocent doe who wanders into a city of fucking jackals and wolves.
Yeah.
So in a weird way, I don't know if that was part of the casting. But it does lend itself to it.
I'm not going to lie, I didn't see it going that direction. Yeah. Did you?
I didn't know where it was going, which was the fun part. It's refreshing.
Yeah, I didn't know it was going. But then I realized, like, oh shit, like he's pimping her out when he was like, yeah, I wouldn't mind at all. I was like, oh.
That fucking scene, dude, when she
was
because I love how, because the main character has this romantic vision of the 60s. And then when the reality, the scene where it's like backstage and women are like servicing men and shooting up.
Oh, dude, that shit was rough. I was like, whoa, dude.
And I'm like, that's brilliant because, that's probably, that is how it is, right?
That's exactly what it was. You know what I mean? Like, women were just a fucking commodity in those days, Like,
especially now.
Today's world, all the boomers, right, who are alive during those times, they're all the ones, who are fucking up in arms about the fact that women want to be fucking have the same rights as men. No, they just don't want you to fucking, they should have had it the whole time, and they don't want you to fucking take advantage of them and treat them like a fucking piece of meat, you assholes.
This is a feminist horror story.
It absolutely is. And taking place in the 60s was the perfect time
that was the era of swinging, hey, mama, and this and that, and suave. Exactly. And I love how they just tore the veil off of it and reveal what it actually was like.
Totally, man. It was great. Yeah. It's funny, like, once you get into the end and you start seeing, like, the ghosts and everything, like, the actual, like, the faceless men and everything, I felt like it really kind of went almost into satire.
I'm with you, man.
It started to feel kind of like Shaun of the Dead. The great are good, part of Hot Fuzz. You know what I mean? It really started to go in, and I was like, okay, now it's starting to get into that kind of goofy, over the top Edgar Wright thing, and I felt like that was kind of because he does that. He has such a similar, like, he has a very distinct style in that, and we've always seen that as a satire. I don't know if that fed into it, just in my mind thinking about those other movies, or I think more likely it actually felt like a satire at that point because he's so used to doing it in that fashion.
The movie up to that point did a phenomenal job of subtlety, right? And subtle horror blend into real life. I just think he went a step too far.
And then all of a sudden it became this giant freaking gore show.
There's a shot that reminded me, a lot of this reminded me of, I don't know if you're a fan of Italian horror movies. You've heard of Dario Argento?
I have. I haven't seen any of his films, but I know who Dario Argento is.
Very stylized, very graphic. The scene where Matt Smith is stabbing and you seeing the reflection and the blood. That's also very De Palma too. Like early De Palma.
That was very when that was the first moment in the film, I was like, "Oh shit, we're getting a little over stylized."
That was like, okay, I didn't mind that because it was in the moment.
Sure.
But when
I actually didn't mind it, but I felt like that in relation to what happened earlier and what came later, it kind of was too, I don't know, it just felt off to me. You know what I mean?
Well, I accepted that. And it's not just this film. I think it's all fucking films. Anytime a specter or spook or ghost shows up and it's clearly a dude, with like a little effect on his face, the mystery's gone, the suspense is gone, the fear's gone. Now it's just, I see it in the light of day and it's just a bunch of zombies coming for it.
Right.
And that's where, for me, he was trying to thread the needle and he just lost it at that point. It went too far into almost camp.
That's what I'm saying. It went into that satire sort of area. And that's what I said. That's what I was talking about. I feel like Edgar Wright has a hard time ending movies. The reason Shaun of the Dead works is because they show everyone as a zombie before they ever become zombies in the intro, like, during the credits. And so when they start showing zombies, it's not like out of left field, and they do it relatively early in the film. The World's End, they don't start showing these aliens, these robot aliens, until almost halfway through the movie. So by this point, you're already into the pub crawl. The pub crawl is the thing, and now we're just putting alien robots into it.
Here's this thing wedged in.
Yeah.
You could explain it and, justify it by saying, I want you to really bond and connect with these characters. But if you wait too long to put that in,
you need to pepper that in earlier.
It needs to be
there needs to be
woven in better, because then suddenly it's a left turn. Again, I thought he was doing a good job doing that, slowly, upping the stakes or whatever. But he went full throttle way too soon. Again, I wouldn't even gone that far. I would have kept it very.
Well, I felt like we shouldn't have seen the Faceless Men until the fire had started. So that way it's all kind of intermixed with the fire and everything's getting ramped up to 11 at the same time. I don't know how you would have done it that way, but I just felt like if you'd waited this long, you needed to wait a little bit longer.
Well, I could imagine the walls burning and peeling away, revealing these corpses.
And that's corpses,
out, right?
Yeah, that's exactly it.
I don't even need the ghost representations. I need the reveal of the bodies that's lining the walls of this joint.
And you could do a cool thing where like the corpses start to show up, and not even like the corpses like start to like go at her, but it's like there's like like it's in a wall, right? So it's kind of veiled in shadow. The shadow that's veiling it like goes to reach for, and all of a sudden you're not expecting that. You know what I mean? You know what I think of? I think of one of the few shows that fucking terrified me recently. The Haunting of Hill House.
The Netflix series?
The Netflix series. I didn't even finish it. It scared the shit out of me so much.
Dude. That's my man. Midnight Mass, Mike Flanagan.
Holy fuck, dude. There's a part in there that fucking terrified me.
Was it the floating guy? That was pretty creepy.
No, I don't even think I got to that. What I didn't see coming was there's a scene where the guy who plays Elliot from E.T., right?
Henry Thomas.
And he goes and he's like talking to one of the kids. They're like in the bed and he's like reassuring them that everything's okay. And then he just starts looking at them and he starts to like open his mouth to say something, and like his mouth doesn't stop moving, and it just gets like super wide, and like his eyes get all dark, and I was like, oh fuck, like I'm getting goosebumps. I'm getting goosebumps right now just thinking about it. It fucking terrified me. And like, yeah, there's some movies they'll scare me. I'll get some jump scares here and there, but like nothing like this, dude. It was fucking terrifying.
And one of the key words that's a good thing to bring up is restraint.
Yeah.
Mike Flanagan himself knows restraint, and he knows how to hold back.
Dude, I can like I feel myself like getting like anxious right now just thinking about that scene. It was that fucking, and I watched it as an adult in my late 30s, and it fucking terrified me this much. Like, nothing terrified. I don't think I've watched anything that's terrified me as much as that one scene in that show, to the point where I haven't even finished the fucking show because I won't watch it without my wife because I need someone to fucking jump onto and hold every fucking 5 minutes, dude.
I'm such a old horror head. You have to like, and this isn't me being like, oh, I'm fucking brave. I've seen so much. Like my threshold is very high, but I can appreciate. I can feel unsettled. Like, oh, that's good. You know what I mean? Like, oh, that's creepy, right? And it doesn't like really creep me out, but the technique and the effect, like, oh yeah. That series was great. Instead of 12 hands coming out of the bed, maybe one.
Yeah.
Like, and it was disappointing because it's such a expected trope. I've seen it so many times before.
Zoom.
Yeah, exactly. Dude. Yeah. And then the big twister, like, no, help us. We were really trying to say help us, but we were fucking chasing you around the library and all that other shit.
Exactly.
Okay, we got to talk about Matt Smith. Like, here again, my man, Matt Smith.
Yo, man, Matt Smith.
Killed it in Morbius.
Literally killed it, or got killed in this one.
Talk about two weird-looking people. Anna Taylor-Joy and Matt Smith.
Yeah, right? Imagine the monstrosity that they would create as a child.
Oh, my God. The eye and the chin. Eye chin monster.
It would be born as like a fucking what's called a plague doctor.
You know how fucking cool he is? He even jokes about it. Like,
really?
Like he knows he has a weird look. He's totally chill and fine.
Right. I bet.
But you know, and that's how good he is. Despite that, the guy oozes when he wanted to, when he was playing the role, oozes charisma, and you could see her like. I was romanced by him.
Latching.
Like, oh, okay.
Dude,
and then when he flips it, and I love the part where she looks over and he's laughing with the guy he punched. And it was probably all staged. At least that's what I took away from it. They fucking trick her and get her like all softened up for the blow to come.
Literally.
He was great. Great performances. You know, I did have a problem, and this is another trope. And I don't know, where did this come out? Rob and I was watching something. I can't remember. There's always the mean girl. And mean to the point of not being realistically mean. Like, I know these people exist.
Oh, the friend?
The roommate?
The roommate?
Like, in the beginning, it was kind of cool because she was just trying to hog the spotlight and relate, right? Oh, yeah. Oh, I had an uncle that died, too. I'm like, oh, okay. That's kind of annoying.
Oh, one of those one-uppers.
Yeah. Okay, a one-upper. But then she turned into, some fucking 80s bully. Just mean for the sake of being mean. And I'm like...
I don't know. Like, some people are fucking like that.
I know,
dude.
but I've seen that. Like, where she started felt more real, but still also filled that role. And again, it was too much.
Yeah.
He needed her just to be mean. So she just fucking started hating this girl because... Right? I wish there was more thought put into that, but whatever. it's a small gripe, but it's something that stuck out to me right away in the beginning, but it didn't stop the fun. Like, an Edgar Wright film with problems is still 10 times better than most of the schlock you might have to watch.
100 times better than Morbius.
Yeah, exactly. You gain brain cells watching his movie.
Oh, we didn't even talk about the twist, right? The twist that the landlord turns out to be. So you see a vision of Taylor Joy character getting killed by Matt Smith, and
who's her
don't
pimp.
actually
He's eventually become her pimp.
Yeah, he's
and
her pimp.
Her out
he's definitely her pimp at this point
assholes.
to tons of guys, right? And you see the knife going up and down, in and out of frame, and it's very stylized, blood splattering everywhere. You see their faces in the reflection of the thing. So you never actually see him kill her, but from the direction of the angle of the shot and the direction of the knife going up and down. I don't think so.
Which was one thing that it didn't throw me, but I realized
I don't think you did.
She's
dude.
laying.
She's
laying on the bed, pretty much looking lifeless.
Really?
And
Oh, I don't remember that, but who knows? Maybe I fell asleep at that point. I have a tendency to do that.
It would have been better that way. What you're saying. Like if it was edited in a way where you couldn't quite, like, there was so much.
It was drastically implied, but you never actually saw.
Right. I would have preferred that, but
and you find out later that in actuality she took the knife, got the knife out of his hand and stabbed him to death, and just fucking stabbed the shit out of him, just blood everywhere, and then end up killing every fucking John she took after that. All her regulars, she killed every single one of them and put them behind the fucking wood in her apartment building. And holy shit, man, like, she just fucking killed them all.
But this is where it gets into, like, the camp over the top.
Help me, help us. That part, yeah.
Well, that, and then she poisons our hero, who, like, when she realizes who she is, she's like, "Oh, I've already poisoned your tea. Just go to sleep." And her little boyfriend shows up. She fucking stabs him. It becomes basically a crazy lady slasher movie, and I felt it undercut the sorrow and the tragedy of what this girl went through.
And that was truly the saddest part of the entire film, was that by that point you were just like, kill this crazy bitch, you know what I mean? If he had done this story justice, you would have never felt kill this crazy bitch, you know what I mean?
Right.
You would have felt so conflicted when they killed her to save themselves because of all the fucking heartache.
Well, he set it up beautifully with the time period and the reveal of what's going on backstage. Nothing is as it seems, and nothing is as simple as it seems.
Exactly.
And that tied into, that should have been with the climax as well. You expect some ogre or make it more bittersweet.
Yeah, and you know what? You know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of the fucking Queen of fucking Thorns in Game of Thrones. She didn't give a fuck. You know what I mean? She was happy to fucking kill them all. She had no more sorrow in her heart anymore. Rightly so, right? For these fucking assholes. But the fact that made it more detrimental, in my opinion, to the emotional connection that you had been building through this entire film. Once you see all this backstage shit in the 60s, you're like, oh, this is fucking awful. You see her being taken advantage by fucking Matt Smith and all these fucking, Johns, and it's fucking awful. And I didn't want to root for her dying. Like, I didn't want that. And then I was like, kill this bitch,
Listen to this, dude. Like, what he could have done, and he set it up beautifully. Remember the boyfriend? He wasn't really a boyfriend, but the romantic interest. He shows up,
and
then
I liked him.
And there's he's goofy and awkward like her.
Yeah, he's cute and awkward kid. Like, he was great.
To her it seems like he's attacking her, right?
Right.
have that come back to play at the end where she mistakes him again for an attacker and he kills him because it triggers something in her, a man trying to take advantage of a woman. And in that moment, she reveals her identity, like, and realizes like, she's remorseful. Like she doesn't have to be some monster. Like,
but then she's remorseful for the fact that she killed him. She can still talk about the horrible shit that happened to her. She can still talk about
it. Triggered something in her.
You could see her like so remorseful for killing this young innocent kid. You know, the fact that she tried to kill the Mackenzie chick, like that is what was kind of the detriment to the entire show.
Well, think about it. She's been living in a house with corpses in the walls.
Yeah,
so,
totally.
From the time period that we don't cover up until present day, what's her mind state? As the writer, you have to think, well, is she continuously killing people? Because she resorts to killing like right a fucking way as soon as her secret is threatened. No normal person would do that unless you're a psychopath, right? And I feel like a more interesting way to go, she's living, this house is a prison. It's where she was raped and pimped out. It's where she murdered people. Yep. And she can't let it go because her secret would be discovered. So burning it down and herself with it is finally a release, right? And killing this young, sweet kid, it's like, okay, you know, I'm sorry. And it's just too much. And I thought I was protecting you and I thought I left this all behind me, but I know I must burn it all down.
Yep.
And then I feel bad for it because she is the hero. She is the other half of our hero.
It ends up being a tragedy but the hero still makes it out. The person who has been shown to be this absolute murdering psychopath gets redemption at the end, you know, to a certain extent.
And at that point, she's not even a psychopath. Like,
she's just a victim.
She's got PTSD, right? And
yeah,
there was a period in her life where she took revenge and she's gotten, you know, put it behind her, but she can't leave this fucking house of evidence. Right? What if it's discovered, right?
Absolutely.
So she's inadvertently made her own fucking prison. And that's so much more character driven and emotional, right? And it doesn't betray what you set up in the whole fucking movie. The whole front of the movie is making me care about this other girl. And to have her become the villain, it was, you know what it is? It's like fucking Wanda in Doctor Strange.
Yeah, right.
Spent all that time feeling for her and wishing her well.
What was the point of fucking WandaVision?
And then she shows up and she's, I'm going to kill everyone and steal children from other dimensions. Like, where the fuck did this come from? Anyway, flawed, but very interesting.
But fun.
Yeah,
good film.
Great music, great costumes, great set design, gorgeous.
Absolutely. That was one of the things Andrea kept talking about. She was like, man, the music in this movie's awesome. I was like, absolutely. It's great.
The shot where she first went back in time, when she went to sleep and he pulled back. Like, I was just thinking the logistics of that shot. They created probably a long fucking, you know, the bed is like, what, a mile long? Because
yeah, right. Oh yeah, because they're under the sheets and they keep pulling. Yeah, that was a fucking cool shot, dude.
And she gets really, really small like a womb, you know, in a mother's womb. So anyway, let's rate it. What do you rate Last Night Soho?
I'm gonna give it a 4. I mean, I thought it was, you know, definitely better than the 3.5 that I give a lot of things that I like. But not going to elevate it above that just because I felt like the end was a little off. I didn't feel like it really satisfied what I wanted out of the ending due to what we just spoke about. You know what I mean? But yeah, I'll give it a 4. I'll definitely give it a 4. Let's see. What was even in this movie?
4 used condoms from a John.
Jesus
if they even use that.
4 bleached blonde hairdos out of 5. There we go. I did like when she bleached her hair blonde and like styled her hair as the Taylor Joy character. I was like, oh yeah. I was like, now I'm like, and I love that she started to like really start to come into her own and stuff, because she was a sweet, young, awesome, charismatic, like I'm not charismatic. I mean, she was very like shy, but she had this great creativity to her, and I was so happy to see her relax and start to like actually come into her own. And then at the very end, you see her do her show, and everyone loves it. And I did like that, but the ending to the story at large of, you know what I mean, was a little disappointing.
It could have been a really phenomenal loss of innocence story, right?
It could have been, and it could have. This movie could have been a 5.
Right, and
it was right. It was right there. It was right there. But Edgar Wright,
if they didn't go to the psycho land with the fucking old lady,
I feel like Edgar Wright did the Edgar Wright thing. Yeah,
because she is the third component, right? Like he really let the character down, I think, by just making it, you know, some schlocky horror film by the end. But
yeah,
I'll give it I don't know if I give it a 4. I'll give it a 3.5.
Oh, really?
3.5. Shit. Well, what's a go-go dancing?
There you go.
Mashed potato. Is that a
yeah?
Or shimmy? 3.5 shimmies.
No, mashed potato is an actual
I know.
dance.
Mashed potato, but is it of that era? I'm trying to remember.
Absolutely.
I didn't know if it was the 50s or not. I was gonna say Matt Smith chins, but I might have used that from Morbius. Yeah, I mean, I can't give it a 4 because that the old lady bit, like, it really just it's such a letdown. Like it could, and you're right. This could have been a 5, dude.
Yeah, it was a letdown, but I still enjoyed it. I still enjoyed it more. I'm gonna say I thought it was a better film than Jurassic World, which I gave a 3.5. You know what I mean? So that's why I kind of feel like I have to give it a 4.
I forget what I gave Jurassic World. I don't think it was a 3.5. It's probably a 3.
Yeah.
So I'm good. I gave it higher than Jurassic World.
There you go, and that's
Happy
all
ending.
that matters, right?
Exactly.
Absolutely. Yeah. Happy ending. That's what this whole movie was about. She gave happy endings, and we got a happy ending in the end.
And I'll end it with that.
And we had talked about it a few months ago, and you were talking about, oh man, Apollonia, fucking Apollonia, you know?
She still, well, last time I checked, she's fine as hell. But goddamn, Apollonia. Woo. Her acting prowess was impressive.
Wait. One problem. That's not Lake Minnetonka.